We're gonna get started in a little bit. Make sure audio's going. Let's see, where else? That's probably fine. We're gonna get started in a couple of minutes. Just me today. Tara is sick. Okay. Let's just get into it. There's a bunch to catch everybody up on. And there's a bunch of cool stuff we could do today as we are trying to get to this 03 preview release for Wanix. But I've been on a little side adventure. And it's kind of what I was working on earlier and kind of in the middle of it. So why don't we start off just in the middle of that, and then we'll come back to showing some stuff and then getting some stuff done. So, what's going on here? Well, actually, I guess, yeah, I'll just start over. There was some state that I wasn't sure if I wanted to lose. So this is Wanix. This is the OPFS directory, which is browser storage, but we now have a shell. And we can run some of these WASI files. Well, this Rust one we've been able to for a bit. And now we can also do Go ones. see, is this... I might end up showing a bunch of stuff now. Okay, let's try it. So one of the things that, besides getting GoWASI executables to work, and then proving that the 9P server in Go runs in it, we set up this system. So in Plan 9, there's this, I don't know what you'd call it, file service, built-in kernel thing called SRV. And if you open up a file here, you can write to it a file descriptor, and it will post your file descriptor to that file. So then if somebody else opens it, they get a sort of pipe to that file descriptor. So it's sort of a way for it was often used as a way for Plan 9 programs to announce their 9P service. So it'd be, some 9P service, and then you could mount against that, and then you could interact with whatever that program was exposing as a file system. So I wanted to try to do something similar here. We have our file system file service, although we might rename this to capability. And from inside a process, if you open a file export and then assume that file is a client connection to a 9P service, Wanix will then take the other side of the pipe that you just opened and post it as a file under here, I think as maybe your program name and your PID or something like that. So it kind of works like SRV. Although it is more specifically, as opposed to arbitrary pipes, it's specifically for file systems. So what's posted here is not when you open up an export pipe or whatever. It's not just exposing the 9P service, it's actually exposing the 9P mount. So you'd actually be able to get to the data inside it, as opposed to it just being a socket to a service. Anyway, I think that works, but that was what our Go WASM test was. So let's try running it. The only thing is, okay, did well, that's new. let's see, fsys export. It should have it because they see fsys. But I have been going back and forth. These different file system representations, like some basically dealing with the root slash that's commonly used for an absolute root URL. A lot of the abstractions I'm using don't really support that. And so it's interesting to see where that's necessary and where it breaks things, where it doesn't work without a slash. Because I think you could imagine too, in some contexts without a slash, it'll kind of resolve to a relative open. So that might be part of what's going on here. So this this is the source to that program, and I made this little helper here. And so here's the open. And so we could try changing this to maybe something like that. Maybe it wants that. Oh, but this is not Wanix. This is actually the this Go9P program, so we have to compile that separately. And I guess another thing that I've done since the last stream is made it so you could drop files onto the browser. So here, although I don't think they can overwrite files, or maybe they can now, but just to be safe, I'm gonna delete this one. But we can just drag files in here and it'll put them into the OPFS directory. So even though we deleted it, there should be one in there now still. And I think we can just try it. Oh boy, it looks like maybe it's working now. The problem is we can't background it while it's exporting. So it's exposing a little file system, but we can use the DevTools things that we made over here. So we can look in here, and the way I was describing it, it would mount the file system under fsys, and it will eventually, but for now it just posted it at root. So there's a directory that is being served by this WASM process. We can look inside it. We got so much debug that looks like there's two files, foo and bar. We could try reading them. Bar contents. So yeah, it is basically a little service serving this little in-memory file system. So you can run Go WASI binaries, we can drop files onto the terminal. I had to finish out the WASI shim bridge into the Wanix file system. Good to get that out of the way. And then that opens up being able to do this exporting or mounting or something. I guess what it's gonna look like, we're gonna rename this to cap for capabilities and then call it announce. So you're announcing a capability, and then it would be whatever your process name is and PID for the duration of while it's running from then on. Anyway, so with that, that basically turns our ability to run WASI executables into a way to extend our file system. So you can now, if you were just using this as some kind of cool programmable virtual file system, you can use WebAssembly to create new file services that can be mounted. So that's cool on its own. And then that was going to get us to the ability to run VS Code. The idea was, because VS Code, or at least, the front-end interface bits, it's all static assets. You just serve a static site to get a VS Code. It doesn't have a terminal or file system, but it works. So we could package that up into a Go binary compiled to WASM that then just serves that, basically announces that file system of those static files. And then if we wanted to, we could create a bind, so it would just be /VS Code. So then in VS Code, there would be like an index.html. And then we would be able to use the DOM, create an iframe that points to service worker. And then right now it's just the root. So we would be able to go to VS Code. And then that would get us VS Code. Finally. Maybe we'll try that today. And then there's a couple of smaller things that I wanted to get in even for this preview, homebrew and stuff like that. But functionally, that's it. Well, you got proc mounting. Once VS Code is running in it, that's really the win. But I had this extra kind of optional stretch goal, which was to get the Go compiler to run. Because this is where it all started. Wanix was inspired by the fact that you could compile the Go compiler to WASM, and it just did it without any trouble. And it's like, why had no one done this before, or is using it like for the Go playground? And I think this is all in the repository. WASM Go playground. So it involved basically not building the main Go toolchain Go, but just compile and link, and then kind of doing a bunch of stuff manually and pre-compiling standard library packages. So it was kind of a hack. It was almost like a fork of Go in a way. because the Go toolchain wouldn't compile under WASM yet. But since WASI Preview 1 support, I think it has. So sure enough, we could compile Go to WASI. And so this sort of represents the first big program that we're sort of running on this version of Wanix. And so it's doing a bunch of stuff, and I'm sort of going through and figuring out what's broken. For example, it, looked for a temp directory, filled that in. Most of it's just setting up the environment so that it has valid paths. So we have the Go compiler here. That's go.wasm. And look, it runs. Go help anyway. So that's, a nice first step. Then you go into anything more interesting. I mean, this is arguably less interesting. It starts complaining because it's built with a bunch of default Go roots and stuff that don't work. So, so we can set those two things. They won't be valid Go roots, but we can set a lot of them might be directories that it's going to write to, so it's got to be OPFS since the root will not work. All right, and then also it doesn't Go WASI programs look at the name of the first pre-open file descriptor to get the current directory, which is interesting. And I use the first pre-open file descriptor for the root directory, but it doesn't like the fact that it's named dot. But it turns out you can also just set pwd, and that'll set the working directory for WASI. Otherwise, it will be confused. Go version. It's not the latest, but it's not a big deal yet. Built for WASI Preview 1. So yeah, it's a working WASI Preview 1 binary. Except it doesn't do anything. We have to actually build something. So that's where we start seeing stuff. Develop with happy. Welcome. Really seeing what environment gives us tells us what we need to set. So I have a predefined command, although it's pointing to a directory that doesn't exist. For one of these, we'll see what it does. Okay, yeah. So because we're actually going to use Go to build, it does need the Go root files. So I tried zipping up and having it would come with precompiled stuff. So it's pretty big. Tried zipping it up, dropping it in here, and unzipping it or untarring it. First, I think it was too big, and so I fixed a bunch of OPS file system bugs. But then eventually I was still getting an unexpected EOF trying to untar it. So I don't know what was up with that. But then I realized, all right, well, if that's going to be a hassle, we could just mount it in with the file picker. Which, you know, is a little dance. And I was like, oh, how do we do that? So I tried to make a script, and then I realized we can't run this because we can't set execute bits on OPFS, because OPFS doesn't have that kind of metadata. So if we want to be able to set that stuff, then we'll have to figure out a way to store it. Kind of annoying. But for now, I can just copy these, although these are running from Wanix. And I guess what's cool is how we can do this, or in theory, the fact that we could write this shell script, because this is a Linux shell, and how the old version of Wanix had a custom shell. And so as soon as we wanted to start actually shell scripting, we had to actually make it a shell scripting language. So anyway, this version, we don't have to deal with that because we just used the BusyBox shell, whatever it is, Ash. All right, hopefully this pops that open. It's already on my Go root directory that I want to export. And then, the one thing I didn't put in the shell script was then doing a bind. So we want emphasis to mount at OPFS go. All right, so now in OPFS, we have a Go directory, which is a directory on my host computer that we picked. And I remember this is kind of slow. I don't remember why. There's a lot of layers here and potentially different unoptimal ways to do certain things, and there's no caching, so some of these file systems have been slow, especially if, for example, I think this one just has so many, I mean, not that many, but it has a lot of files in it. When we put this giant file in OPFS, it also got very slow. And I thought it was strange that suddenly a large file size made an impact on how slow it was. I haven't worked it out. Maybe that is just intrinsic to the OPFS API, how it's implemented. We don't know. But it could also be something stupid I'm doing. Anyway, this is a valid Go root now, so we should be able to run this. And this is almost like an strace. And it is slow, partly because of this tracing, but also there's other reasons I was just saying. But so it looks like all the directories are at least valid. If something doesn't exist, it can create it. So there's a little main.go, so we can try now to build main.go, and we can basically see what else is broken. And at least for debugging, the fact that it's slow is kind of nice. You can kind of watch what it's doing over here. Yeah, getting the size of a file through the file system API seems like maybe it's like reading the whole file or something. I don't know why it's so slow. I tried some caching stuff and it just led to bugs, so kind of just we'll deal with it being slow. Sure is hitting that cache directory. Oh. How's everybody doing? I don't remember how long this runs before something interesting happens. Eli. How's it going? I don't know. All three. Let all of your personalities out. Yeah, face emojis. Yeah, I don't know how these emojis work. Frequently used. Some of these come from other Twitch streams. I don't understand how the emoji network, the emojiverse works on Twitch. Is it still going? Notice it's doing a couple of little writes here and there. Is it stuck? Is it done? Do we wait? Seven, 12, 7. Anyway, this is the kind of stuff that's more ideal to do off stream. Last time though, I don't remember doing this. So I don't know if it's something I did or just watch top. I don't think backgrounding works. It does something weird. Oh, because you have to suspend it to do that, and I think suspending does something weird. What does it do to file descriptors? Yeah, but it's an actual full Linux VM. But of course, there's magic going on to run the WASM outside of the VM and stuff like that. All right, this is done. I'll try running this again later. Anyway, so that's just progress on the Go compiler. Like once it can build a program that sort of closes the loop, on this journey in some ways. So we'll get there. But in the meantime, we can try seeing if we can get VS Code in here. I guess we'd also do these renames. We want to rename emphasis to cap, and we're renaming processes to tasks, in part so that we can not collide with the Linux root when that is something we want. So that's just some busy work, which is kind of good for streams, but let's see, what time did we start at 2? Okay. So we could try, one thing I haven't tried yet is first maybe just making an index file and then opening up an iframe pointing to that directory via the service worker, just to make sure that that works. And I haven't used an iframe in a while, or used the DOM stuff. So how does this work? You want to make a directory with an index.html. HTML. It's valid-ish. Uh-oh. Truncate again. That's actually the error that we ran into with the compiler on FSA, FS, truncate. Huh, yeah, okay. Our file system implementation for OPFS doesn't have truncate, and for whatever reason it didn't want to fall back. But this is new, getting it to try to run truncate on the innermost file system with nested file systems. So the innermost file system will be OPFS, and yeah, OPFS does not have truncate. But I guess it could. Why not? We'll put it with these guys. Because I think there is supposed to be a way you can truncate MDN writable stream. No, I want the one that the file systems have. File system. File handle. Create a writable stream. Oh, it's a file system writable file stream. It's slightly different. Limited availability, oh boy. But it's a very weird API. They have seek, truncate, and write. But you can do seek and truncate through the write. By saying, oh, actually, I'm a seek or a truncate. Okay, and this is a path-based operation. Which means it would have to be opened. Yeah, that's interesting. Because in Linux, you can truncate without opening the file, because you can just write size data on stat. But okay, I guess we'll just have to open it. Truncate, so it's a file. Looks a lot like open, since we are having to open it. Was there an error that we had for is directory or something? Not empty maybe was used. I don't know. There are all these questions that we just don't, I mean, there are answers and it's relatively easy to get answers. Like what happens when you try and do truncate on a directory? What is truncate supposed to do? Those things are not super well defined. guess I'm gonna just let it. Let it do whatever it does with directories, I guess. Get file handle. So it's on file handle that we can call truncate. File handle. All right, we'll implement that in a bit. Get back up here. Okay, so that's truncate on the file system, and then we have to implement it down here using. We have kind of two APIs. Feels like I want a code streaming platform where when I'm watching you code, I can copy paste what I'm working on. Yeah, I mean, we're getting to that point. I was having Gemini try and summarize transcripts of streams. Didn't do a great job, but maybe as more of a interrogation model, it would work better. And maybe it would be better too if it could actually see it. I haven't tried any of the video stuff with them. Anyway, second API, that is sync handle, which has its own truncate. So if sync, use that truncate, otherwise, and I don't know why we can do seek and truncate through the write method as well. I mean, probably something like, you know, started with just write and then they added those and then they were like, okay, let's add them as methods. But whatever, I don't know what to do about it. They don't have information about like what's deprecated. So in terms of which one do I actually use, I don't know. I feel like it would be safer to use write. Okay, it's very similar to size, where we use one or the other depending on if sync is defined. If sync is defined, this is the sync one, truncate. Nothing. makes a size. I guess call doesn't return an error or anything, so. Otherwise, if writer is not undefined, so this is this one, so we'll try doing a write. What did I do? This one. Type truncate. Data, we don't need data. Don't need position, just need size. And this returns a promise, so we will wait for that. There, now we should have truncate on OPFS. Which, funny that it was VI that triggered that. Okay. So, just need to rebuild. Reload. Okay, so that's written. I thought maybe it didn't before, but maybe. Maybe it was a swap file or something that was truncating. Anyway, nothing about truncating now, so that's good. And then we have our index.html. So can we create, I mean, I guess we could just do it by hand for now. Let me, oh God, it's gonna have all the history. Maybe we'll put it at the top. Yep, there. How do I enter? Didn't do anything. Do I just do that? All right, refuse to connect, why? Blocked. What? The response needs to enable it's header. I thought we were doing that with all of our service worker requests. Cross-origin embedder policy. Require corp. Wait, did it even try to get it from the service worker? I don't think we know, but it's possible it didn't. It should have though, because of /SW, and really they're all going through. Man, I wish I could curl this at some point. Maybe I'd be able to here, but this is if it starts with SW, it's got those. I mean, I guess there could have been a read error and then it's generating a 500 error page and then saying, oh, you didn't have the headers, so we can't show it to you. I guess that is possible. Maybe we should just put these at the top. I feel like it's almost easier to add the iframe with the file system now. I just forget how I'm supposed to do attributes. And then what? I think then we attach AI Studio. Does that do, does that let you give a video or something? Okay, that's an improvement. Look at that. Maybe it was that it was a 500 and so the header wasn't set. Okay, so OPFS www. Invalid argument. Why? Huh. How does... I forget how the browser... Okay, no, it's the server that will serve index.html when you request a directory. It's up to the server. It could redirect you. Usually it doesn't. It might redirect you to fix trailing slash. But yeah, I don't think we have that. So I think it's just trying to read a directory file, which doesn't work. So we should have made this www/index.html. I guess we can try again. I don't remember if we can change the attributes once it's been added. Actually, we could try that. I will try that. Actually, we could try it right here. It's just do web dom to adders. Oh, look at that. It worked. Makes sense. Easy enough to wire up. Well, because we knew that we could set adders before it was appended, but even if you're doing it with the JavaScript DOM API, you'd still be able to set adders afterwards. So it makes sense that it would work. But also, it's nice that, hey, it did render hello world or our index.html. So now let's try and make a Go binary that provides an index.html. And then we'll run that binary and have it announce its file system, and we'll try and open that in an iframe. Where are we doing this? So maybe I will do it over this. So one thing I want to try is, see, this takes directories, right? Watch this. This is cool. I'm gonna do an index.html, h1 go9p. And then we'll embed it. And because it's a file system, we can just drop it in here. And yep. Okay, so build that here. And then we gotta, let's see if it should be able to overwrite files when I drop them in now, but we'll see. So keep an eye on that. Okay, it didn't complain. Okay. Yeah, it's different. Okay, so we can just drop them in and replace it now. It used to complain that it couldn't because it already exists. Okay, so we just run that, I think. Go 9p. But we'll have to check to see the file system over here. Oops. So go 9p. So there's a www and there's an index. So this guy's busy running the thing, but we could try setting the attribute of this iframe to whatever. So that would be web DOM. I don't remember which one it was. List web DOM. Three or two? I feel like it was two. Okay. So we should be able to just edit this. So what was it? Go 9p www index.html. Go 9p. Look at that. This iframe is serving an index.html coming from this executable via the file system. So that's good. The next step, I mean, basically that proves that you can embed static files in a Go binary and then have it announce in Wanix. So we could probably get VS Code working. It's only a little after 3. I don't know. What else? All right, so that's stuff that was done. I mean, we kind of proved all of this. We just didn't actually do VS Code. Should we just do VS Code? let's get this. Because I don't remember if it works without wiring it up. Okay, so I want to serve that directory real quick. But how? Python 3. Something like that. Port 8000. Okay, so serve static files gets you VS Code. So let's embed those. Let's see, VS Code web.zip. I think it ended up VS Code reader, zip reader. Yeah, it pulls it out and then decompresses it in memory. I mean, I guess we could do that. Zip reader. Dist. Oh, that's old FS. Maybe we'll try embedding it without compression just to see how that goes. I'll just keep using this Go 9P. Whatever. Let's see. So that would be, that puts VS Code in assets. So it would be www VS Code. I think that's fine. done. And it's going to be a little bit bigger now. .62 megabytes. So we should be able to just run it. First of all, just check to see that the... Oh, there's still a Go9P. That's not good. That's weird. Oh, yeah, because even though this interrupt actually interrupts the process, it doesn't actually kill it because I don't actually handle those. So it actually makes sense. Actually, that's how it's actually backgrounding it effectively. That's funny. Okay, well, it'll be here when we reload. We'll just reload. We'll have to remake the iframe. Okay. BFS. All right, so we're gonna run this. And we'll go look to see www, what's in www, VS Code, what's in VS Code. Look at that, index.html. Okay, cool. So we should be able to VS Code slash oh, fuck, it almost worked. Looks like it was hard-coded to do absolute path. Yeah, it looks like it was all... This is what Adam always complains about. So I always go for absolute path first, and then that makes it hard to put it on any other path. What do I put? Path? Window location. Path name. Could double slash, but that's probably fine. Oh, another one. Okay. Recompile. Re-drop it in. Reload. Okay. Now what? Oh, okay. We run the process. Okay, and then we yep. What's this? What's this? Come on. What? Huh, what? Oh. Oh. Because we're not using a path. We have to use HTML because it's not injecting. Ugh. Well, pretty close. Looks like maybe it would have worked if it weren't for that. It's like I'm trying to figure out where to make this work. I mean, I guess we could do service worker. Like, no. Okay, but we don't care if it's an error. But if it is a directory, we want to see if there's an index.html. How did it know? How did it know? Path, is that correct? Path. Serve file. No, this is not correct. If there is a file system version, then that will work. All right, and if it's a directory and there isn't an index.html, there is no error, but we would want to say I don't know, what does it say when you go to a directory without an index? Most static sites are going to have an index on. Oh, just 404. What is this tab? So if it's a directory, if there's an index, serve it. Otherwise it's a directory. There's nothing, so 404. Otherwise it's a file, so read the file. So we just need to reload this. And do this again. Okay, but instead of HTML, we'll go to the directory and hopefully it'll work. Fuck. File does not exist. That's a 500 though. Wait, or is it actually that the files don't exist? They do. www. Yeah, they're there. File does not exist. What the hell? I wonder if it's the slash at the end. Whoa, almost. www VS Code out. Is that correct? What's going on here? VS Code. Oh, okay, they needed double VS Code. VS Code. Package paths. Gang ice cream yum. Yes, lady. I don't know what that is. Can we do strings trim suffix? All right. Dot slash. It's like they're missing. It combined the double. I wonder if it did that because it shouldn't. Oh, because it's serving it as a file. That would be a file in the host directory. That's why you would want to redirect to the slash. Because it, well, maybe, not necessarily. That does seem to be what servers have always been doing, but it's interesting. Now that I think about it, you want that slash so that you know you're in this directory. When on the page you use dot, because that would say, oh, I'm in the parent directory to this file. Dot would mean API reference unless you did this. I mean, I don't know. I don't feel like I've ever thought about this before. And I've been doing web stuff for a long time, so that's just kind of funny to think about. Can I stream this short?
Slay on, fire, gang, balloon. Killer, what is the noise again? Wonk, 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 gang, yes, 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 gang, ice cream so good, gang,
Oh my God, what is happening?
ice cream so good, gang, balloon, gang. Oh, thank you, baby, I love you. Gang. Zombie Galaxy, I got your name. Wow, a letter give for you. Fire, cake, slay on.
NPC aesthetic is very weird. I have no idea why you brought that up, but thank you. Let's see. I think the answer is redirect? Or no, if it doesn't have it, we want to redirect to it. Which I'm not sure. Hopefully the service worker setup will do that. Is that what it normally is? A temporary redirect? What's the difference between that and just recording a video? That wasn't generated, was it? I guess I wouldn't be surprised if it was. Let's try it on this W. Oops, not that yet. All right, we should be able to OPFS www, and we'll just point it to www. It should see that that's a directory, which would redirect to slash, which should load index.html. No. It does seem like it redirected. Yeah, redirected. So file does not exist. It just does. Oh, that's right. Wait. If we're trimming it, it should still. We're not trimming anything from the suffix. On path. So has suffix. If it doesn't have it, it redirects to, or it does have it, it's trimmed. So then there's directories. 500 though. Why is it a 500? It's like it's getting down here. I don't understand. OPFS, OPFS. Oh, there's a double. What? Why was that? Why was it doubled? What? So the redirect made it worse. How did the redirect make it worse? Path. Oh, because that is with the trim. Okay, that kind of makes sense. Trim and prefix. All right, we've got it this time. Cool. It went to www, redirected to slash, and then slash serves in index. That's how web servers work. Okay, so now the service worker works like that. And so now we can run OPFS. Run that. And then point this to Go9P www VS Code. What? Does that not work? VS Code out platform, it should. Window common. Out VS platform window. Doesn't seem to be a window directory. It's a little suspicious. Although the system might not actually be looking, well, it was getting actual URL errors. errors though. Damn, we're so close. It's all just stupid reasons. Like me not. Oh, that's important. Let's see if those are coming through. Service worker, I'm pretty sure we do some content type checking both by extension and detecting based on the data. So that's annoying that that didn't work, but maybe because it's a 404. That's probably what it is, right? Yeah, 404. So that's why that's text plain. I don't know. I should figure out how to run it on a subpath before running it in here. It should work. Like all the pieces are there. We tested all the things. Like I think we did all the work to get VS Code to run. We just don't know how to run it on a subpath. Oh, that was... Okay. Well... Oh, right. No, that should... wonder if I'm just giving some weird path names. This could have been from before, maybe? No, it would have been the same page load. Why was there a timeout? Probably overloaded with a ton of requests. Yeah. Anyway, this is also another thing that's better to debug off stream. Unless anybody has ideas. We'll say we did VS Code. I mean, I guess I'll just... We'll say fix VS Code. And pretend we got it working mostly. We can try the compiler again to see if that does something interesting in the next 10 minutes. We could go and rename stuff. Let's go do this. Oh, we have to mount. I can't run this script because it doesn't, I can't set the execute bit on it because OPFS doesn't have any of that. Okay. I'm gonna get a bunch of logs. Actually, let's clear the logs. For environment, it's just a sanity check. Oh, that's very interesting. Huh. It's like page not found though. It's not necessarily this. I keep thinking maybe it's passing for a file, not returning an error. But I mean, these ones also aren't working. Oh, those are. Let me just reload. Okay. Ugh. Really wish we could make it a script. I mean, I guess we could just make all files executable in OPFS. I mean, while we don't have a place to store it, it feels like that's not terrible. So that'd be 7, right? Oh yeah, now they're all executable. All right, so I should be able to do this, and this will make the pop-up. Yes. Awesome. And the only thing that it didn't do was the bind. Maybe I'll just edit the file and reload. This would be basically the first shell script of this Wanix environment that is actually useful. So there's no Go directory. Then we run this script. Select this directory. And now there should be a Go directory. Yeah. First successful Wanix shell script. Okay, and then let's run. Try this one more time. Finally. It's doing all kinds of shit. Okay, that probably looks fine. Oh yeah, and the PickRFS stuff is slow. I don't know why. I mean, OPFS just feels slow. I don't know why yet, but let's try a build and see what happens. It's where we came in and where we'll end. Keep checking that directory. Oh, I guess it's doing a redir for every parent and then it's reading a different file. bunch of cache stuff. Sure looks in a lot of directories. Well, that's going. And it's still going. I guess that's good. Still doesn't look like it's doing anything interesting yet, but I'll let it keep running. Did we actually do anything today? We we tested everything up to VS Code. We almost got VS Code to work. Fixed some service worker stuff along the way. Got everybody caught up. Who knows how long this will go. So I guess that's it. This would normally be the 2-hour stream. A little later in the day. And without Tara since she was sick. So hopefully... Yeah, there's a possibility that on Wednesday we'll have all of this stuff done. I don't know about the compiler, but I'm gonna definitely try to get that working for the release. It sort of ties it all together. And ties back with the origin story. Okay, I'm just gonna let this run. And close down. I'll be back on Wednesday, probably regular time. See ya, Eli. And everybody else. Thanks for hanging out.